This week, after 10 days of speculation about his future, Mike Rann announced he would hand over the premiership to Jay Weatherill on October the 20th. Mr Rann says there are things that he needs to attend to, such as the deal for the Olympic Dam expansion. So, is it the triumph of a smooth transition, or does it reveal Jay Weatherill as a weak leader? In a moment we'll hear from the Premier in waiting, but first here's a recap on what led up to the change.
With more than 2 years to go before the next election, it remains my belief that there is no pressing urgency to make the transition in leadership right now. Accordingly, the best and most effective way of transferring the leadership is to work with my successor, Jay Weatherill.
The thing that characterises Mike is his incredible luck. I think, if anything, perhaps thought this time the luck's starting to fade and the luck has run out.
The best way to handle a transition is by agreement. It's important that the whole of the Labor Party is behind my leadership. I wouldn't have wanted the leadership except on that basis.
Politics and political success is often about definition.
The people of South Australia elected me, and they have a right to know when and why I am stepping down. So I've therefore determined that in order to complete the job I have to do and to best assist Jay and the government in the leadership transition, that I will step down from the office of Premier on the 20th of October.
Mike Rann says he's avoiding the invidious leadership squabbles of the Liberals. Nevertheless, Labor and the state has had an invidious week or so of confusion, tension and squabbles. The solution of an October 20th retirement date means for the next 10 weeks there are, effectively, 2 premiers.
It's an unusual situation. It's uncharted territory. The system is not really designed to have 2 premiers. The nearest analogy I can think of for this is something like a caretaker government.
Jeff Anderson was a practitioner of the political arts as Chief of Staff for the man who for now remains the longest serving Labor Premier, John Banham. These days he teaches politics at Flinders University, where recent events will surely become a case study.
Premiers are very important players in public policy. They determine cabinet agendas, they determine the shape of cabinet, they determine, if you like, the pace of government. So I think it's inevitable that we're going to be in some sort of semi-caretaker mode for 10 weeks. I don't think it'll be a complete stop, but in terms of long-term strategy, there's clearly going to be a little bit of a hiatus.
One thing, though, looks set to speed up: the negotiations over the Olympic Dam expansion.
The Premier, deciding to depart on the 20th of October, has decided that he is going to personally sign off on the deal. And that puts South Australia in a terrible bargaining position, because we're here bargaining with the world's richest mining company, and they know that our Premier is desperate to get a deal before he goes. That is not a good position to be in.
So there'll be a new Premier, one who says he wouldn't have taken the job unless it came from a united party, and one also who defines himself crucially as being more inclusive of the community when it comes to decision making. He also says he wouldn't mind making this place just a little bit more civilised.
The Liberals too are using the way he came to power to define him, although in a different way.
Unfortunately, Jay has defined himself as being indecisive and then more recently insipid. He's allowed himself to be backed into a position where there's no way forward for him for at least 10 weeks.
Do you think you, meaning the Liberal Party, have his measure?
I think we do. I think we do, and I think he and the rest of the government have played into our hands, to be quite honest.
I think the best analogy is that when Isabel Redmond became leader, it was very hard for Mike Rann and his team to sort of get a fix on her. She was a different sort of leader, and I suspect that Jay Weatherill will be the same problem for the Liberal Party.
However he's defined, Jay Weatherill has been a part of something rare. On few, if any, occasions in the past 17 years have the best laid plans of Mike Rann been thwarted.
My intention to stay as Premier until March 2012 has, however, been affected by events of the past 10 days.
To me, it demonstrates that Jay Weatherill is one tough guy. Underneath that very calm exterior is a very, very tough politician.